It's the Church Solutions podcast, and my name is Phil Thompson.
And I'm Steve Lacy.
And I'm Michael Gray.
Welcome, everyone, and welcome to our listeners and viewers. Thanks so much for being with us. This is podcast episode number 386. I'm trying to project a little more because these guys were saying my volume on my microphone wasn't very good. How's my volume sound now, guys? How's it sound?
It's
Okay?
Good enough.
All right, good. All right, so everybody doing okay today?
Fabulous.
All right, everybody's happy. We're starting to get into summertime temperatures. So before we get into today's topic, we want to remind everybody we actually have a webinar coming up. That's right. We always talk about our webinars because we're doing them every month. And we got one coming up July 18th called Unleashing the Power of Online Church Service. And we have a special guest. His name, every guest is special, right?
Yep.
Jason Moore is our guest. He's an author. He's a conference speaker. He wrote a book. What's the name of the book, Steve?
Both and.
Both
So,
slash and, as
yes,
I like to call it.
He's answering the question, should we still streaming it? Should we still be streaming? And he says we should both do in-person services and streaming. And he's got some tactics for creating a great online ministry and in-person ministry.
All right. Now, can people sign up for this webinar now, or we got to wait on you to fix it?
Nope. They can go to webinar.streamingchurch.tv and sign up.
Ooh.
I've already signed up.
All right, and it's free, and it's about 30 minutes long. There'll be some Q&A afterwards, as there always is, and it's July 18th at 12 noon Eastern time, and it'll be fun. It'll be good. Jason, we've had Jason on our podcast before. He's a great guy, and he's a good speaker, and so you guys are going to enjoy that. So don't forget to do that. Okay, so let's get into our topic today. What are we going to talk about today, guys?
We are talking about the most popular topic around AI and ChatGPT.
AI ChatGPT. So we normally don't self-gloss around here. We sometimes we do occasionally, but we're going to actually talk about something that we're doing with streamingchurch.tv, and you might find it interesting. We're going to talk about how we've incorporated AI ChatGPT Webhost. But before we jump into this thing, let's just kind of make sure everybody's on the same page here, shall we? And when I say everybody on the same page, I don't mean us, although maybe we should be, but I'm talking about our listeners and podcast viewers and all that stuff. So first of all, we talk about Webhost a lot. Some people use the term church online host. So what is a web host? And really, why should I care about a web host if I'm doing streaming video?
So my vision of the web host or version of the web host is kind of like the greeter and the usher combined at your church. If you have a greeter and you have an usher, they're around to say hello and welcome you to the service and then help you out, get to your seat and take care of you if you have questions or whatever. So the web host online does that same thing. It's supposed to welcome people as they arrive, answer questions. And unlike the physical usher and greeter in online, you can talk in church, you can talk in the chat room. So they encourage the talk in the chat room, and they're kind of stimulating the conversation and praying with people and just getting them to participate in the service.
So, Phil, I know
Michael.
you got a lot of experience in this area, and so does Steve. So what happens when you don't have that happening?
It's pretty dead. There's no interaction. People just kind of, and I want to clarify too that some people, when they do streaming video, just have video only. And we're talking about really having chat. And what we have a chat platform. I mean, you can do video only with us if you want. But we think that interacting with your people is much more conducive to building relationship, to helping people feel part of the service, to answering questions, as Steve just said. So, and there's other things. There's like Church Online has a chat platform, video and chat. Okay. So your question, what happens when nobody does that? Well, I mean, it's pretty much dead. I mean, you could have some idiot on there that starts talking about something that, you know, you don't want them to talk about, or something that's off color. I mean, we rarely used to have that. Now we get a little more of that, I guess, with some people. So I don't know. Now you've done this too, Michael. So answer the
I'm baiting
question.
you.
Answer the
I
question.
find, as an attender, so I attend a lot of church online now, and as an attender, I feel I will have more conversations in church online chat than I do when I go live.
Now,
So
when you go live, you mean when you actually go to a physical service?
When I walk into the building, I may have 2-3 conversations with people that I know.
Yeah.
But when I'm on the chat platform, I have conversations with a lot more people, and it's more robust. And let me qualify that. That's in a church. Mine in particular has a pretty robust chat going on, and multiple hosts. So there's a lot of conversations happening and a lot of people to talk to, and therefore I'm more communicating more online than I do when I walk in the door.
Now, not to get off track here, but I will, because that's one of my gifts. Why do you think that is, Mike? I mean, so you're an introvert, and I'm kind of baiting you now, because I've seen this happen with a lot of people. Sure. Introverts seem to be more interactive online, in different online settings, than they are in person. Would that be true with you?
Comfort zone.
Yeah.
Introverted comfort zone is, I'll chat with you as much as you like, as long as I don't have to be near other people.
All right. So now that we've established a little bit here what a web host is, or a church online web host, or a church online host is, there's different terms for it. You should care about this, and if you have video, you really ought to encourage having chat. But let's talk now. Let's move to, okay, we're talking AI chat, right? We're talking AI GPT chat. We've heard a lot of buzz out there about AI, and some people are freaked out about it. So, Steve Lacy, since you're developing this for streamingchurch.tv, why AI chat GPT? Why have that as a web host? And I mean, what can it do? But first of all, why should you have it?
I think the short answer is that anyone that's interfaced with ChatGPT has been really impressed with how thorough and just how good the responses have been. So, I mean, one example in my family is my son had to write a referral letter for a dental student, and that was his first exposure. He talks about it coming over the house. You know, he's just excited about, wow, I tried this new thing, ChatGPT, and I was going to write this whole referral letter, and I had ChatGPT. I gave ChatGPT a bunch of info about who he's writing about, and he was just super impressed on how well it had done. And I think that's a real common response for those that have interfaced with it, is it just does a really good job at what it's designed to do. And chat host is one of the things that's just really good at.
All right. So the example you gave was not a web host example, as a chat, but just I want to say generic. That's probably not the right term, but there's other. So we're talking AI chat GPT, but there's other AI out there too, right? There's other companies doing AI chat, right?
Yes, there's a few other companies doing AI chat, and the AI piece falls into, I think, just in two big categories. One is image manipulation or image creation, and the other is just the large language model that was creating text content for you. And there's other areas where it'll transcribe video or audio for you. There's some other things that are play a lesser role.
Yeah. I mean, Bing. So we use Skype occasionally, and Bing. I don't know about you guys, but I have a desktop Skype that I use, and we kind of, as a company here, we use Skype to kind of communicate to each other and send each other messages, which Michael will ignore usually. But they actually have I'm being facetious kind of Bing, mine has like a thing saying Bing, so Bing is actually in the AI thing as well now. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Yes.
they have added it to their
Yeah.
platforms as a. If you go to their browser, which I don't suggest you use, then on the side now they have the ChatGPT
Yes.
tool that you can utilize.
Yeah. So everybody's getting in it.
Exception.
Everybody's getting in it. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just, it's not ChatGPT, but it's the same. It's kind of like this. ChatGPT's kind of taken the Xerox name, you know, let's make a Xerox of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I get what you're saying. All right.
You're
So
dating yourself there, man. Nobody says Xerox anymore.
that's right.
Kleenex. How about that? That goes even
All
back even
right, all right.
further.
There you go. Now that's a
Even
brand that
further.
owns the name.
Yes.
All right. So what you're developing here, Steve, for streamingchurch.tv is you're developing an AI ChatGPT web host.
Yes.
So this is something that when somebody logs into, if a streamingchurch.tv customer decides to enable this feature, they can take advantage of AI ChatGPT as their web host. So how does that work?
So it's not the generic ChatGPT web host. It is made from their, you know, that company, but it is tuned for your church. So the web host knows what church they're participating in, acting as an online web host for. They know where the church is located, and they have the church's URL. So they have a limited set of information that the AI web host will use in the chat. So it's not just generic. So if someone joins the service, it's going to say, and I'm part of, you know, my church is a live church. It'll say, Phil, welcome to a live church. We're glad you're here, and let us know how we can help you. And it tends to be a much more thorough response than you get from a human.
How does it know that? How does it know that?
It's all magic. No, it's
Magic.
It's built into our implementation of the AI web host.
All right.
So
in other words, we've done it from the back end.
Yes, we've done it. So when you turn it on for your church, it should act as a part of your church. It's not, you know, we'll get into what are the weaknesses and what are the problems. It's not all knowing, but and it will make some things up sometimes.
Oh, it makes things up. Oh, that'll be interesting. Well, we'll get into that in a moment. All right. So, all right. So somebody, so getting into the tell me how it works deal. So somebody logs on to the chat, you know, watching the video, they log in, and then does it automatically greet them as soon as they log in, or do they have to say something first?
As people begin to interact, you know, you just say, hello, everyone, then that's its cue to join in and respond.
Right.
So
if I log into somebody's church service and they're using our company and they've enabled this AI GPT chat deal, but if I don't say anything, it's not going to pick me out. It's not going to go, hey, we see you're here, Phil Thompson.
No,
now leave now, or something, you know. So I have to say something. I have to at least say, you know, nice service, or
yep.
Yeah. What if I say something? Well, should I get into that? What have the results been so far?
So we've had some churches turn it on at, I think it's been 3 or 4 weeks now. And one of the key responses, we measure the chat interaction in the chat room, how many chat engagements you have. And this particular church was averaging, I don't know, 35 chat engagements a weekend. They turned on the AI web host and their engagements went up to over 180. So they've been,
wow,
you know, dramatically increased the amount of interaction. So it's the web host does a really good job of responding and then prompting for more interaction from everybody that's online.
What about things like, so I assume it's going to know the service times. So if somebody says, hey, when's your next service?
It may or may not know some data. And, you know, the AI web host was trained on data from through I think it's October of 21. And so it doesn't know current events, and it may not know current things, but it will. So you could challenge it with what's the weather today, and it's not going to know what the weather is today. Sometimes it may make something up for you, but it may genericize. It's a beautiful day here in Tucson, Arizona.
Right, but what about specific church information? So if I'm asking it like, who's the pastor? Will it know that?
If we haven't loaded all of that training data into the system yet, so it will not know specific, who's leading worship right now. It's not all knowing. So
Okay, well, I get that it's not all knowing, but
yes.
what I'm saying is, so is there future plans? I mean, because
There's
some of those are common questions, right? And people are going to
yes.
ask like, oh, what
Yes.
does this church believe? I mean, do you guys believe in speaking in tongues? Do you believe in head coverings? Do you believe women should sit separately from men? Do you believe in women pastors? Do you
And these
believe
are
in
all
men
the
pastors?
questions that you have already asked it, right? To test
Well, I am, but
the
I'm
response.
interviewing you here, so
Yes.
people don't know
No,
that
I'm
this
just
is an interview.
no, I'm just saying that we have tested with all those different responses to see how it responds, and that's before we send it live. And the responses we've been very impressed with how it's responded to all that. So we do have an enhancement coming that will allow you to put in specific things like, well, it actually, we already know your service times and things like that. And to put in your pastor, what's your children's ministry about, what's your statement of faith, and that will help train the AI web host to respond according to your specific information.
Okay, so that's coming in the future.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So why should people use this now?
Well, if you want to increase the engagement in your online church, you just turn this thing on and you'll get some increased engagement with your environment. So,
Okay.
I mean, I've done some reviews of churches that don't have web hosts, and as you said, it's typically crickets in the chat room. And I've done reviews with a web host that is good, but maybe not great. And there's, mediocre results. And we found that this thing really kind of upped the game on the web host interactions.
What would you recommend? So if people are going to like try this, and I'm speaking to our customers at streamingchurch.tv, or if you're not a customer of streamingchurch.tv, you could always make a free trial at streamingchurch.tv, and you could always try it, just fool around a little bit with it. But what would you recommend people? I mean, should people just turn this thing on and walk away as far as admins, or should they stick around?
Again, you're in complete control. I would probably turn it on and play with it a little bit and see how it responds. If you want to go through a service with it, engaged as well, go through that. If you get uncomfortable with anything, you can immediately turn it off and it'll immediately stop engaging. So it's turned off by default. So it's something you have to turn on if you want to experiment with it.
What the answer I was looking for was, you probably ought to have a web host standing by to just watch it engage and maybe correct it if it gives you the wrong, something that might be incorrect.
Yes, we always encourage that.
Yeah. So
always encourage to have a web host there to monitor and make sure things are going well.
Yeah. All right. So Michael, what do you think about this thing? Is Steve crazy? I mean, is this something we should be doing? I'm kind of getting into weird territory here. I mean, we all agree. I think that we all like it, but and I've seen, Steve was giving me a hard time. We were like, well, yeah, we did. We tested this stuff and we feel pretty good about it. But what's your thoughts on this, Michael? Do you think we're way ahead of the curve? Do you think it's going to catch up to us? What
I think my perspective is, I have engaged in the past with multiple platforms, Google, Facebook, and I'm talking their help desk platforms that are pre-programmed with answers. And so my expectations when I went into ChatGPT was for it to be like that. I would ask a question and it would give me an answer that wasn't really an answer. It was the one that had been pre-programmed to choose one of these three options kind of thing. And so it wasn't intuitive. It didn't answer what I asked, and I wasn't really getting help that I wanted or needed from it. I have been honestly shocked at some of the great answers that I've seen it provide that are very intuitive, very directly answering what was asked. And because of that, then, the numbers Steve was giving earlier, that's a 300% increase for the one church in one weekend before it was off, and the next weekend it's on, and nobody did anything other than we just watched it do its thing. And so the engagement and that chat, and it's kind of a snowball thing. The more conversation and chat you have in a chat room, the better it is, and the more robust it is, and the more people become involved in the chat, and therefore more involved in the service that you're providing online for them. So at this point, I know people are going to find ways, or they're going to search for ways to trick it, because that's what people do. They want to try to make it fail, and we're trying that as well, just to test it. But yeah, I expect some people to be jumping in and say, hey, if you ask it this, it's going to do this kind of thing. But in reality, general terms, I think it's great. I think it's really a robust and a fantastic product. I always, and our friend Kenny Zhang has said as well, a human engaged in the process all the time with any kind of AI. Somebody have eyes on, so maybe a pastor's not necessarily chatting, or associate, or a volunteer. They're maybe not engaging in the chat so much, but they're just making sure that when ChatGPT responds, it's not giving the pastor from 2 years ago versus the one that's actually on stage talking now.
Yeah. I think that's common, that people interface with Siri or Alexa devices or whatever, and you just get frustrated. You're like,
you scream at it.
Yeah, you just like, no, I don't want that. And this has been a really different experience for us. And so I guess it's just to the point of, well, you got to try it to get to form your own opinion. Another thing that you talked about was there's a very popular leadership video out that shows a guy that's at a concert. Have you guys seen this one? Phil and I, we've talked about it before, but it shows a guy at a concert, and he just starts dancing and going, kind of wild, and he just keeps it up. And then pretty soon a few people around him start doing it, and then a few more, and then a few more, and then all of a sudden everybody in the whole concert has joined in. And that's kind of the effect with this with the web host, is you got a vibrant environment going on. People are going to see, oh, I'm going to jump in there and chat some as well, whereas opposed to, it's really stale and nothing's going on, I'm not going to stick my neck out. So
yeah, good point. So you mentioned Kenny Zhang, Michael, and we've become really good friends and close with Kenny. He's got an AI online conference for leaders, and that is coming up. And I don't have the notes in front of me here, but that's coming up like
28th,
27th, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, 27th.
27th is the launch.
Yes,
I should know it because I was publishing stuff about it yesterday.
Yeah.
And Steve is a presenter at that event.
That's right. Yeah. So it's educational. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is, and what I've experienced so far, and I think Kenny's mentioned this too, is that people that are kind of concerned about AI chat and that stuff, most of them have not experienced much of it at all. If anything, they've read things about it. Skynet is coming, and and the Terminator's coming and all that stuff.
Terminator is coming.
Yeah,
The Terminator's coming to get us.
Yeah. So if you want to know more information about that, like I don't know if anybody's following us on social media, but we have Streaming Church is on Instagram. If you don't follow us on Instagram, Streaming Church is I think it's Streaming Church, maybe streamingchurch.tv. But one of those, follow us because Michael does our social media. I mean, obviously we're on Facebook at Streaming Church, and we're on
YouTube,
LinkedIn,
Facebook,
and YouTube,
Instagram, LinkedIn,
yeah,
all of that stuff. And I did just publish that. Actually, I take it back. I scheduled it. It's coming out at noon today to talk about that conference and drop a link that you can sign up for that conference. Because I know every one of you want to go to that conference and listen to Steve's presentation about this.
Exactly.
But there's also a lot of other really cool AI presentations at that event.
So it's aiforchurchleaders.com.
Good job. aiforchurchleaders.com. Go to that. And by the way, we are at least, I don't know if you're going to be around. You're probably not going to be around, Michael, because it's this afternoon, but we're actually going to pre-record another podcast with Kenny Jong, and we'll talk a little more about that.
Oh, nice.
Today.
Nice, right on.
Today we're doing that. Steve doesn't know because he doesn't check his email, but he does check his email, but he doesn't do it as often as I do. But yeah, so we'll have a podcast coming out probably after this one. Where we'll do Kenny Jong, and he'll talk a little more about that. So look, we're starting to run out of time here, but we wanted to let people know about this. We've got this option available at streamingchurch.tv. If you use our company to stream, or if you're thinking about it, you can just make a free trial and try it, and you can activate the feature for chat, the chat Webhost, the AI ChatGPT Webhost. You can do that. If you have questions about that, just reach out to us here. Streamingchurch.tv. You can chat with us or email us, whatever. But the bottom line, what we're trying to say here. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Michael. I
was going to say I was thinking about it yesterday, and I really would encourage you: don't be one of the people who gets on board bashing something that you've never actually engaged with.
Right.
Just because Joe or Bob or somebody you respect says it's bad, it's all bad, and it's the devil, all of that kind of thing that they said about the internet when it first came about. And then churches did the same thing about streaming, rejecting it before they tried it, saying, oh, it's the worst thing ever that could ever happen to churches. And then it wasn't. And so don't be one of those people or churches or ministries that jumps on the bandwagon of bashing something before you personally try it and find out if it works or not. Engage, try, test, prove it right, prove it wrong, but don't just listen to what somebody says online for what you take as truth in the context of AI.
I think that's well said. I think we'll probably wrap up with that. So, we want people to connect. That's what it is. It's all about connecting, and if this can help people connect and interact, I think it's positive.
Absolutely.
You're looking for interesting stats. The OpenAI ChatGPT website is in the top 10 of most visited sites now. So it's up there with the Facebooks and Googles, and it supposedly has gone from 0 to its current level much faster than Facebook did.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, people are interested in this, and they should be, and you should check it out and decide for yourself, as Michael was saying. Don't just take somebody else's opinion on it. Decide for yourself. So, and so as a company, we're trying to help churches use technology. I mean, that's what we try to do, and we try to bring features, and we try to bring ideas and resources. That's what we do. If you go to our website, you'll see a tab that says resources, so you can always check us out. So that's what we're all about. All right, good deals. Enough self-glossing. Thank you, Mr. Michael Gray and Mr. Jackson Steve Lacy. Thank you so much.
All right,
always a pleasure.
And thank you guys for listening or watching this podcast. I'm Phil Thompson. And be sure and check these things out that we said, and take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll catch you next time on another episode of the Church Solutions Podcast. I'm Phil Thompson.